What a year. 2016 ended with a bang, no doubt about it. UFC 207 delivers big. Hi, I'm Dan Cox. Thanks for joining me. After UFC 205 and what a stacked card, and then 206, and possibly the fight of the year, and possibly the knockout of the year, 207 comes, and we've got the two fights that I really want to talk about. And that's going to be Dominant Cruz, Garbrandt, and of course, Rousey Nunes. The first fight I've got to get into, and that is Cruz, Garbrandt. And listen, I was shocked. Cody Garbrandt seemed to be the emotional fighter, the younger fighter, less experienced, especially on the big stage. And he really did seem to have, out of control anger, really, because backstage, he had a little push match with Jeremy Stevens. I know he went after Cruz multiple times. And you thought that was going to carry over into the ring. And Cruz, being such a veteran and such a cerebral fighter, you would assume that Dominant Cruz would have been the one that was calm in there. Cody had already shown he was really having a hard time controlling it. But it was the opposite. We seen Dominant Cruz in there looking like the emotional fighter, really trying to knock Garbrandt out. And listen, I've got to give him respect for that. Cruz is a fighter that was never looked at as someone that could even finish a fight unless he caught you in a choke. Cruz was never looked at as a finisher. After his injuries, he came back. First fight he finished. He's been a different fighter since. And he really did go all out and try to finish Garbrandt and showed a huge chin. Heart, I knew that was there. But what a chin. Because Garbrandt is I don't know if he's the biggest hitter in the division, but I do know he hits extremely hard. A lot of guys would have never gotten up. Cruz did. And Garbrandt also really impressed me because he was the calm fighter. He was constantly able to get in Dominic's head. He was able to catch Dominic early. He started getting Dominic's timing by the mid to second round, and he was catching him with a counter with his right hand over and over. And that really was messing Dominic up. And every time Dominic came in and dipped, he had an answer for it. He stayed calm. A 5-round fight is not a fight I thought Garbrandt had a chance to win. I thought, if it goes 5 rounds, it's definitely Cruz. Garbrandt has only got that power. If he can finish him in the first 2, Garbrandt will win. I was so wrong. Garbrandt went 5, and he looked like he could have easily went, 3, 4, 5 more. He wasn't even gassed. It was extremely impressive. He stayed calm the entire fight. He showed poise. He was a champion. He was a champion, and he beat the reigning champion to take the title. And what a story, coming from alpha male camp, Uriah Faber, the history between Cruz and Faber. Cruz, he choked, Faber choked Cruz out the first fight in the WEC, and it might even been a one-arm guillotine. I don't remember for sure, but then the second fight, Cruz wins. The third fight, Cruz dropped and hurt Faber multiple times and easily took that fight. So you expected maybe more of the same. That's not what we got, and it's big payback for Faber. I know he was up in the cage after the fight, post-fight, celebrating, and I guarantee you he was smiling at Dominic for sure. Dominic, the pro he is, no excuses, accepted defeat, gave respect to Garbrandt, the new champ, the deserving champ, and hats off to Dominic for that. Future for both of these fighters, obviously Cruz is the #1 contender. He's right there. And Dillashaw, incredible performance that night. And a fight between Cody and Dillashaw is going to obviously look really attractive to the UFC because there's some animosity there. There's history there. Genuine dislike, again, maybe a little respect, but that would be a good fight. So Garbrandt, his future it's off the charts. This is a young man that is just coming into his own. He's young. He's only going to get better. Very impressive, Cody Garbrandt. Congratulations for that, buddy. I'll tell you, that was really impressive. I would have lost money had I bet, but I don't bet. But then we come to the main event. Now, how many of the fans out there were thinking this is Ronda's time? Ronda's had time off. Look at her. She's in the best shape she's ever been. This is her fight. This is Ronda's fight. No doubt she's going to win this fight. And Nunes is going to come right at her, allow Ronda to grapple, hip toss, armbar, boom. And that's what would happen. A lot of people. And it could have went that way. It was possible. But my concern was the chin, the mental side. What would she do when she got hit? This was a lot of pressure for her. Big comeback, a lot to answer for. And she did not know how she would respond when she got cracked. It doesn't matter what you do in training. It's not the same. And honestly, the way she did respond, because the jab is what hurt her, and it stood her straight up. And Ronda was caught with her head over her knees, in front of her knees, chin up, standing straight up. You cannot fight like that. There was no improvement in Ronda's footwork or head movement, and I was really, really upset about that. And not with Ronda, but with her coach, because it's his responsibility after a loss like she had with Holly Holm to point out the proper footwork, how to cut angles, how to circle, how to stay away from your opponent. We didn't see it. Listen, everyone looks good when we're hitting the pads, okay? You can look great hitting the pads, but you got to move your feet too. And when you got somebody throwing punches at you and you can't set your feet, you're in deep trouble. And with Ronda, what happened was once she got caught with that jab, it was obvious for Nunes, she cracked her. And she seen the look on her face. And she just came forward and she was able to throw in combination. And that's because Rousey's feet were planted. She either went straight back or she stood still. And the only time she moved was because she was getting hit with a punch. Nunes would cut a small angle. She didn't even really have to. She had to rock so bad. I feel terrible for Ronda. I really do. And even though, listen, now Ronda has beaten people and been less than sportsmanlike, so I guess having things happen to her, I shouldn't be upset about it. I mean, you play that way and it comes back to you and you got to accept it. But she looked lost in that ring in that cage after that fight. And I really did feel bad for her. And with Nunes, listen, she was so disrespected before this fight. I mean, there was no media for it. And what was out featured Ronda for most of the time of the commercials. Ronda was making $3 million or so for the fight, plus a percentage of the pay-per-view. I don't know what Nunes had. If she had a percentage, I'm sure she had to have something. She is the champ. But 100,000 is what's being said. I mean, that's wrong. There's something wrong with that. But Nunes proved it. She said, you know what? I won't say anything. Ronda, everybody loves Ronda. She's done so much. She's the face. I will show who the champ is. And oh my gosh, did she show who the champ was? There's no doubt about it. It was such an impressive win for Amanda Nunes. Look forward to seeing her fight in the future. With Ronda, listen, I mean, there's one thing Ronda has to do, and that's she's got to get in a different environment. I would love to see Ronda go and train with Angelo Reyes and, do some striking for a month or so with Angelo Reyes. This is a man that is at the next level. He not only does Frank Mir and Anna Julia Tom, but, he does a lot of work for people. And, he's not out. You don't hear his name a lot because he doesn't put it out there a lot. He's a very private guy. And I'll tell you, he could really make a difference in the career of Ronda Rousey, in my opinion. But she has to get a different coach. She's got to go to a different gym. She has to have people that she could spar and train with that are going to push her and put her in bad positions every day. That's really important for her. So I guess to wrap it up, it was an incredible year of fights. But we ended on such a high note, and it was really mind-blowing, those last two fights, the way they went and were finished. I was really impressed. So, hey, you guys, do me a favor. Go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to the channel. Doesn't cost you anything. You just got to click the button, subscribe, and it will really make a difference. Download the Fight TV mobile app. It's got a lot of content, really cool stuff. Support. Get out there, do the best you can. And hey, for Fight TV, for Modern Pugilist Entertainment, I'm Dan Cox, and we'll see you next time.